like that till the last second. If the music is too loud for you to hear my voice, you can just let me know and I can adjust it. I'm just looking at my meters right now. It's awfully close on my meters, but you can let me know. All right, Memorial Day ride. At 10 a.m. Overcast skies, probably going to rain, but still, it's good to be here. Let's just warm up. Let's get really light resistance. Sit up tall, breathe deeply. Just allow our legs to move easily, slowly with the light resistance. Feel like your vertebrae are stacked, and that your shoulders are hanging down, pulling on the neck muscles, full relaxation, complete lack of tension in the shoulders. Notice how that weight comes into your sit bones. These really light turns of the pedals at slow speed are very good for us. They start to move that fluid around in the joints, coating them so that they move more smoothly. The hips, the knees, and to some extent the ankles as well. Let's return to the handlebars now. We'll go through our body awareness practice of checking how much weight is on the hands, wiggling the fingers so they're relaxed and loose. In other words, not gripping the handlebars, but just resting on them. Shoulders are away from the ears, elbows slightly bent, and your spine is nice and neutral, so that we have a 10-foot gaze or so out in front of us. Now we can bring our leg speed up into the 80s. Adding a little bit of work. As we do this, let's keep our hips nice and steady on the saddle. I'm just adding a little bit of resistance now. Just enough that I can feel it in the muscles. That was actually too much. I'm taking a little bit out. I'm trying to not make it feel like I'm working. I'm just trying to add a tiny bit so that it feels like I've put a little more. But it still feels very easy. Relax the belly so it's kind of rounded so that you can breathe. It will allow the diaphragm to expand. The ab muscles, if they're held tight, are literally on top of the diaphragm. So we release those ab muscles so that the diaphragm can expand easily. I can feel the warmth now coming into the muscles of my legs. They're feeling smoother already. Just for a few seconds, align your legs to the beat of this song. Just for a few seconds. It will require you speeding up if you're in the 80s. Now let's speed up our legs up to around 100 RPM if you have a computer on your bike. And as always, at this kind of pedal speed, especially with light resistance, the hips will want to bounce. So this is an excellent time to practice keeping the hips steady on the saddle. Stitching together that pedal stroke as smoothly as you can. Alright, let's slow the legs down now and sit up. Oh, a bird landed on my edge of a windowsill here. Checking out what's going on. What's this human doing? Speaking to no one, riding a bike with lights on. That's what it looks like to the bird. Align your legs to this rhythm, even though the resistance is light. This is a beautiful mind-body practice. Helps us stay in the moment. Helps us tune into the body. Come on back to your handlebars now. Stay with the rhythm. Light resistance. I'm of the opinion that far too many cycling classes skip the warm-up and just go right into it. And I think it's so important, both for the body and for the mind, to become present and to loosen up the joints and gradually bring work into the muscles. Again, line your legs up with the rhythm. Count it in your head if that helps. Let's bring in now resistance that feels like your muscles are being challenged. It feels like you have to use the hips now to push over the top. Let's focus on that sensation of driving over the top and feeling in the heel of the foot. Upper body stays completely relaxed. This feels like a grade, an upward grade. Not a steep hill. Not a punishing hill. An upward grade. We could hold this 15, 20 minutes. That's the sensation you should have in the muscles. Notice what's happening to your breath now. Should be rising. Just accelerate your legs to 90 for just a few seconds. now reduce your resistance, slow your legs into the 80 range or so. That last part would have introduced a lot more work into the muscles, so it probably tired them a little bit. Let's spin that out. Up and let my arms hang down for just a second, even as I'm aligning to the beat. Let's get ourselves into now a steep climb. It won't be a long climb, but let's get some real high output from the muscles, and as we do that, let's integrate all the muscles of the legs, hips, lower back into the pedal stroke, so we're not stomping, we're stitching together. Bring that extra heavy resistance in now. In addition to driving over the top, we're scraping mud through the bottom. We almost never talk about the quads because they're the most obvious part of the pedal stroke, so we focus on getting those other parts involved. Dial back your resistance, come back into the 80 RPM range, 85. Might be a good time now to put a number on your breathing, whatever your breathing is, assign a number to it, 1 through 10. Staying in the 85 range. Light resistance, so we're not going to full active recovery right now. We're staying at a low level of work. Since we have light resistance on now, I want you to leave it there. But we're going to come up to 100 RPM and stay there for about a minute or so. When you're ready, bring your leg speed up. If it's comfortable to you, you can close your eyes. I'm doing that right now just to really tune in to keeping my hips stable and settled on the saddle. And stitching together this beautiful pedal stroke. Oh, I can feel the warmth coming into the muscles now. Now we can slow the legs way down. Sit up again for just a second, turn it very slowly. See if you can pay attention to what's happening to your heart rate and your breath. I can feel my heart now in my chest. We're going to do another short steep hill. This time we'll come out of the saddle very quickly once we settle into the seated portion. and get that feeling. Then we'll quickly add even more resistance and stand up into it. And 3, and 2, and 1. Seated climbing, add resistance, still feels very challenging. Struggling now to turn this rhythm. Now we're going to come out of the saddle. We do that by adding even more resistance, standing into it with our body weight, keeping the hands quite light on the bars. In 3, in 2, and 1. Add that heavy resistance. Back down to seated climbing, still heavy, but lighter than when we were standing. And 3, and 2, and 1. Let's dial it back to light resistance. And once again, stay in the 80 RPM range. $85. My out of breath is 6-7 right now. On a scale of 1 to 10. If you feel like it, you can sit up with me as you align your legs to this rhythm. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring in resistance. It feels like it's a hill, not the super steep one we were just on. A little less steep. Moderate hill. Let's bring that in right now. Moderate hill. You're not struggling to keep the rhythm from the get-go. But it feels like you've encountered a noticeable incline. Just stay right here. Let's go through the shoulders, relaxing. Consciously take any tension that might have built up in your shoulders and release it. Let your belly expand with your breathing. Realign your legs to this rhythm. It's very close. It's nearly identical to our previous song. I want us to stay in this hill a little bit. That requires that we really be on the same page in terms of how this feels. My breath is increasing. Sweat is building up on me. My legs are getting tired, yeah, I can feel it. But I'm not struggling at this point. My form isn't really going at all. I'm still able to stay relaxed. I just have to mentally commit to staying with this now because it is a little uncomfortable. In about 30 seconds, we're going to finish up the hill with a very steep sanding section. So we'll add huge resistance in, staying with the rhythm, and then we'll rise into it, drive our body weight into the pedals through the glutes.
Ready in 3, 2, 1. Crank it up, stand into it. Now come back for active recovery, very light resistance. Great time to drink some water. Even with this light resistance right now, I'm lining my legs up to the rhythm as a way of staying in the moment, of active listening. I did it like that because the speaker's down there. It's under the bike, on the floor. Friends, when I said active listening, I was referring to that speaker. You'll notice your breath is coming down a little bit from that climb. That's perfectly fine. Now I'm returning to the handlebars. Staying with the rhythm. I notice I sometimes look at my feet. I know I do that. That's, I think, my way of reminding myself to be present in the movement of the muscles. It's not me just letting my head fall. I'm actually looking at my pedal stroke, associating the stroke with the feeling in the muscles. All right, time to get even deeper. Let's focus our minds for just a second. Make sure we're mentally prepared to go deeper now. This is a different kind of effort. I want you to get right now resistance that feels more than a gradual incline, less than the steepest kind of hill. You're able to hold the rhythm. You're not struggling to keep on the beat, but it's uncomfortable. Get that feeling. Quickly scan your body to relax every part that's tensed up. When I tell you, we're going to turn the pedals 10 RPM faster than what we're doing right now for the rest of the song. It's not a long song. So take a deep breath. In 3, 2, 1. Add 10 RPM. You can absolutely notice how that feels in your muscles. It's good to tune into that. Maybe focus on scraping through the bottom. Reduce the resistance down to light, come back into the mid 80s. Put a number on your breathing. If you feel like it, you can sit up like I am, keeping your mid 80s RPM. Left just enough resistance on, and my pedal speed is fast enough, and my breath really isn't coming down a whole lot right now. So I've stayed in the effort. It's just not as hard as that last part of the hill was. So my muscles are being challenged now. My heart rate is not going down. Ready to come back up to 100 RPM. Remember, the resistance should be light now, if it's not adjusted. And 3, and 2, and 1. Accelerating smoothly up to 100 RPM, hips now. Staying settled, stable on the saddle. See how relaxed you can make your upper body. All right, slow your legs down. Keep the resistance right where it is. Go ahead and drink some water. If you feel like it, you can stretch your calves and take a little pressure off the sit bones. That's perfectly acceptable. Be ready for 2 sprints, separated by very little time. Remember, sprint is 100 to 110 RPM, with heavy enough resistance that you could not hold there for 45, 50 seconds. Huge power output. In 3, and 2, and 1, add the resistance, accelerate your legs into 100% power output. And reduce your resistance way down, slow your legs, allow your breath, your heart rate to continue to climb a little bit. I should say notice that. You ready for the next one? Take a deep breath. In 3, 2, 1, accelerate. Add the resistance. Now settle your body and see how smoothly you can apply this power. And dial your resistance way down. Slow your legs. At the end of that, I started to lose the cadence. And now, of course, you can hear in my breathing. Body to the rhythm again. Feel free to sit up like I am. I'm noticing what's happening to my breathing after those 2 sprints. Coming down, I'm back down to 1 or 2 on my breathing on that scale of 1 to 10. If you can, add in a little more resistance now. So we're back into work, just nothing too strenuous. We get to the point where you feel like, yeah, my leg muscles are working right now. And if it feels comfortable to you, close your eyes and envision just releasing the tension from your shoulders. Slow your legs to this rhythm. We're going to do out of the saddle surges, out of the saddle accelerations, and these are meant to replicate when you shift gears on your bike on a flat road to a gear that you have to stand up into. So you're in a harder gear, then you stand up onto the gear so your bike is moving faster already because you've chosen a harder gear, and then we're going to accelerate the legs so the bike accelerates even more. This is our starting point, this right here. When I give you the signal, you'll add resistance, stand up and accelerate the legs. Not a full out sprint, just accelerating the legs. You'll feel this more in the quads than a standing climbing. In 3, 2, 1. Add that resistance and stand up and accelerate the legs. I don't know, 5 to 10 RPM or so. Now come back down in your resistance and back to the rhythm. Pay attention to how that affected your breathing. One more, in 3, in 2, and 1. Add the resistance, accelerate the legs, 5 to 10 RPM, and stand. Come back to light resistance. The legs hurt right now. So I want you to keep the light resistance on, but get your legs into the 80-85 RPM range. 85. We're going to notice the change in the feelings of the muscles as we continue to spin here at light resistance. 85 RPM or so. That acute discomfort in the muscles is going away from me. Leaving your resistance the same, slow your legs down. Let's get ready for one final hard effort today, where we bring it all together. One short sprint, but in that sprint we're going to monitor our shoulders, our hands, our elbows, our spine, our weight on the saddle, how our hands are interfacing with the handlebars. The full circle. Breathing from the relaxed belly. Alright, let's get into position. Settle yourself. Maybe take a deep breath. In 3. In 2. 1. Accelerate to 100, 110. Full power output. Slow your legs, reduce your resistance. Beautiful work. Our only goal at this moment is to keep the legs slow, the resistance light, and notice our breathing come back to normal. You notice mine's not back to normal yet. Maybe an equally important goal right now is to tune into that sense of accomplishment, of self-efficacy. Taking pride in how beautifully you pedaled today and that you got yourself on the bike today and that you feel good. Now, knowing you've reduced your stress levels, knowing you've benefited the health of your whole body, including the brain. Just checking in with my breathing right now. It's about 1.5, maybe 1. So we can remember that by tracking how quickly our heart rate / breathing come back to normal, we can then determine cardiovascular fitness. Hopefully over time, your heart rate returns more quickly. To baseline. Muscles might continue aching a little bit. Mine are actually right now. Right here. Right on the underside of the top. Right there. Not the hip. Not the glute. But right here. Kind of where the hamstring attaches. But to the side. Alright, let's let our legs slow down even more. Sounds like Daft Punk to me. Let's let our legs come to a stop. This totally reminds me of, was it Lose Yourself to Dance? Is that the name of the song? You'll see, I always put my hands like this when we come to a stop. It helps me tune into the body. All right, let's stand up onto the pedals at 3 and 9 o'clock. Feel that nice stretch in the calves. Rotate your feet 1/2 turn, so the back foot's in the front, and then drop your heels again. Let's swing a leg over the bike and standing next to it, pull back on our ankle to stretch the quadricep. Let's switch to the other leg. Moving to the hamstrings. Let's hold the hamstring stretch nice and steady. As we continue to breathe from a relaxed belly. Alright, stretch some more, drink your water, spend a couple minutes getting yourself ready to return. I'll shut off the light and keep the music going, and we'll see you next time.